As photographers, there are many tools inside Lightroom Classic to really improve the image quality of our images. But I think the most powerful tool is masking. So today I'm going to be showing you my Lightroom masking workflow on how I edit my portrait photos. And I'm going to start right now. Now, when it comes to using masks, it's usually the last part of my editing workflow. Before I even open up the masking panel, I make sure that my exposure and color grading is how I want it. So as you can see, I haven't actually made any masks yet if we go over to my masking panel, but I've done all of my basic changes you can see here. I've also gone into my color mixer tool. You can see I've made adjustments to my hue, saturation, and luminance. Done a little bit of work in the color grading panel, so I've added a little bit of work to the highlights and shadows, and I've also done a little bit of work in calibration and effects. So now my photo is basically done and ready to actually add in masks. So I'm going to show you the masks that I personally would use on most portrait photos, as well as some specific masks that I would actually add to this photo here. So let's go ahead and open up my masking panel. Now, the first masks that I do are more generic. They're darkening masks and brightening masks. I look at the image, work out what I want to be the main focus, and then I try and add emphasis to that by either brightening certain areas or darkening certain areas. Now, this particular photo, I think, needs two generic masks. I think the bottom of the image is quite bright. I want to, again, focus on the model's face, so I might create a linear gradient at the bottom. And then I'm finding the background also quite bright. So they're the two darker masks that I think I'm going to create. So the first mask I'm going to do is just head over to my linear gradient here. I'm going to go ahead and select roughly the bottom part of this image, go for something like so. And then I'm going to go to my exposure and simply bring that down. I might bring it down by, let's say, one entire stop. Subtle enough that it doesn't look like I've made a mask, but enough so you can see a positive change to the image. And what I'm going to quickly do is just name this mask. I'm just going to call this Darken. Now, the other mask I want to do is kind of affect the background here. Now, there's a few ways that we could create this mask, so I'm going to experiment to see which one is best. So I'm going to go ahead and create new mask. I'm going to go ahead and see if this works. I'm going to go ahead and select background. Let's see if this works. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so it hasn't done too bad of a job. This hopefully should work. All I'm going to do is go to my exposure here and just bring it down ever so slightly. Now, this is going to be a very subtle change. So I might go for, let's say, minus 0.4 of an exposure. And that has made the model stand out a lot more. And realistically, again, we haven't really done much. So I'm just going to rename this one simply background. So they're the more generic masks. What about when I actually edit my portrait photos? What do I actually do? Well, there's usually one big mask that I would create, and that is a skin mask. And we can do a few effects in that skin mask to really emphasize the skin, increase the texture, while also removing spots and blemishes. And what's really nice is because we're not directly removing spots and blemishes using the remove tool, we can turn this into an action and basically create a preset to automatically apply it to every single one of our photos. It's a really useful tip. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead, create new mask, and I'm gonna go ahead and select people. Now inside people, you've got person one. Obviously there's only one person in this image. You can see that we've got a whole bunch of new AI masks that we can create. And to create a skin mask, we want to select face skin and also body skin. We can tick both at the same time. And you can see the red area, which is where Lightroom is going to create that mask for us. Then I'm gonna go ahead and simply create mask. Now, so we don't get complicated or get confused throughout this review, I'm just going to quickly name these masks. So I'm gonna call this one skin mask. Now, inside this, I want to create a few effects. So the very first one is I'm going to go all the way down to where you can see it says texture, clarity, and dehaze. I'm going to increase the texture while also decreasing the clarity and then adding in a small amount of dehaze. Now, what this will do is it will keep the texture of the skin because I think that's really important. But what it will do is it will, with reducing the clarity, it will soften out any of those larger imperfection areas. And you can see it's actually done quite a big effect. If we do the before and after, it's really softened out those skin tones. And again, what's really nice is we can save this into an action or save it into a preset and apply it to a whole range of photos. But it doesn't just stop there. If we want to really create a bit more of a softer skin look, we can select the skin color and basically reduce the amount of variance in that color. And it can actually really help reduce any really strong highlights or really strong shadows and smooth out the color of the skin, which is really useful. Now to do that, we're gonna head to our point color tool, make sure we've got that mask selected. We're gonna go ahead to our point color and just select a skin tone. So we're going to head and select it like so, creating this swatch. Now to test the range, to make sure that you've got the entire skin tone selected, we can go to visualize range here, and then you might want to mess around with your actual selection that you can see. So I might actually increase the luminance range of our selection here, as well as my saturation range. So I might increase it like so. And as you can see, we've basically got the entire skin tone selected. Now what we can do is actually change the hue, saturation and luminance, but right at the bottom, we've got this variance slider. And this is the slider that we want to use. What I recommend doing is if you want to smooth out the skin tones, take this slider over to the left. So what I'm gonna do is go to that slider here and slide it over to the left, and that will really smooth out the skin. Now, in some situations, you might also want to slide it over to the right. That will create a stronger, more saturated look with a little bit more contrast. To be honest with you, most of the time, I do slightly slide it over to the left, usually by around about -20. And this really does help smooth out the very strong highlights and shadows that you can get from skin tones. So that is the skin mask, and you can see we've made a pretty big impact. If I do the before and after of just the skin mask, if I go ahead and zoom in and show you, there's the before and there's the after, I think it's worked wonders and I really like it. But that's not it. Something else I also like doing is actually sharpening the hair. The problem is sometimes the hair can end up looking quite, a little bit soft, and to actually improve that, we can select it by using, again, AI masks. So with that actual mask, we can go ahead, create a new mask, and go ahead and select people. Now there are usually two masks that I like selecting. So when you select person one, we have got hair, but I also like selecting eyebrows in the same mask, and then go ahead and create. Then all I'm going to do is simply go down to my clarity and simply increase it. This, in contrast to the smoother skin, still makes the photo look nice and sharp, especially when we select the eyebrows. So again, I might go for +20 there, might increase the dehaze as well, or dehaze, increase that, as well as texture. I might also increase that as well. And we can see, in contrast to the rest of the photo, it now looks really sharp, which I'm really happy with. Now, something else I usually do is slightly whiten the teeth, but we don't really need to do that in this particular photo, but it's something to reference in your photos in case you want to do that, as well as we can also work on the eyes as well. This is usually my very last mask when it comes to portraits. Now to do that, I'm gonna go ahead, create new mask. Again, go down to select people, person, and then I'm going to go ahead and select the pupils. So that's these two masks here. And you can see that we've got the red eye selection, and I'm going to go ahead and create new mask. Now you want to be nice and subtle here. A very obvious mask that looks too overdone are eye masks. People just way overdo them and it just doesn't look that realistic. So here is what I would do to still make your photo look realistic but really make the eyes pop. What I like doing is going to my exposure and increasing it by around about 0.2 of a stop. I like increasing contrast by around +10, but I would leave highlights and shadows alone. That's where usually the photo looks unrealistic, or at least the eyes do. I would go to the whites here, increase the brightness by maybe +20, maybe no more. I'd probably do 15 in this example. But to make the actual blacks of the eyes really stand out, I reduce the blacks here, and I would go down to around about -10. Something else you can do is also go to saturation, but again, be really subtle with this. Increase the saturation very slightly, maybe to around +10. And depending on the eye color, will depending on how that actually affects it. You can also, if you want to, go into your temperature and tint, if you're finding the whites of the eyes are a little bit too yellow or a little bit too blue. That can sometimes help, but again, very minor changes. Well, all I need to do now is simply name my masks. So that was hair, and this one here is eyes. And as you can see, the photo is done. What I can do is show you the before and after of just these masks here. So what I can do is show you the before and after, and this photo looks dramatically different. And realistically, we haven't done much. That's taken me, 5-10 minutes, and most of that time was explaining it. And what's really nice is you can use a lot of these masks and copy and paste them from one photo to another. And what I'm going to do is show you the before and after of all of the changes that I've made to this one image. So here is the before, it's quite flat, it was quite yellow, and here is the after. Really happy with this photo, and I've got to admit the masks are an absolute beautiful finishing touch.